Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. It's my first time and I decided that as my first video that I wanted to do something that was very important, that could teach people something, make them maybe feel a little more hopeful, and this topic very close to me. My two children are on the Autism Spectrum disorder, ASD, and also my little brother is also on the spectrum. And I wanted to maybe put this out there. I get a lot of questions, messages from people asking my experience or any tips, anything like that that can help the process of being a parent with a newly diagnosed child. And so I thought, well, what better way to share some information than to just go ahead and make it as my very first video, and hopefully it can help some people out. So I have put together a list of my top 10 tips for parents of children that are newly diagnosed with autism. So I figured, why not just jump on into it? And thank you so much for watching. I am the Welcome Wagon, so welcome. Let's get started. Okay, so a little bit of background of my children. My daughter is about to be 10 at the end of the year, and her name is Persephone. We call her PJ for short. Jackson will be 7 in a couple weeks, and they are so awesome. I would not change them for anything. So this is going to be a little extra tip, not inside the list, but just love and appreciate your child as they are. That is the biggest thing I can tell you right now. But to get started on the list, number 1 is going to be patience. If I keep looking to the side, it's because I do have notes, because I never recovered from being pregnant 7 years ago, and my brain just doesn't work the same. So notes are my best friend. So patience, keeping calm. Your child is going to pick up on your energy. So if there's a meltdown happening or frustration going on, have some patience. Let's stop and breathe. We have taught this with our children. We calm down, we take a deep breath, and we just try to control ourselves, our emotions, and this is good not only for the child, for the parent as well, that all parties need to remain calm and try to work with trying to understand each other, what the issue is, how can I help you, and also you need to give your child time to think. Sometimes words don't process as quickly in their brain. So if you tell them something, we need to just let it sink in a little bit and try to comprehend what you're asking them, or maybe they need a little extra time to communicate their needs. So don't rush them, just give them some time to process. And in the communication aspect of it, if you're trying to figure out what they want or tell them what you need them to do, maybe trying to find the correct words that are going to make sense to them. Sometimes that full sentence of a bunch of different words just does not connect immediately. So maybe find the key words in there, try to make them into a smaller sentence and into terms and wording that they fully understand. I know a lot of parents, we kind of throw these words that we just use every day, but they don't understand the concept of those words. So trying to find words that they understand will help communication better. And a lot of tantrums and meltdowns, they do come from the lack of communication, being unable to say what they want or what they need. So finding words where you guys can understand each other is going to help out tremendously. All right, number 2 is consistency. Being consistent is going to help your child. They kind of really enjoy routine, and although I will get into that later on in the video, consistency is going to be very helpful with things like discipline and punishments. You need to let them know that you are the adult and they are the child. And when you say something, you mean something. So you need to really be consistent, even if it is threatening, oh, if you don't stop that, you're going to get a timeout, or, you know, you're going to get this taken away. Say what you mean. And if they need that punishment, stick with it. And it's just going to be better in the long run for everybody. And they need that. And it's going to help them a lot when they go into school as well. Also, having expectations for your children. If you want them to behave a certain way, you need to stay consistent with showing them the proper ways of doing things and acting. So yeah, just have expectations and they can learn, which is going to go into number 3. Okay, number 3. So this one is to realize that your child can learn. Having autism is not an excuse. They can learn just like everybody else. It's going to take sometimes a little bit more effort and a little more time, but it can happen. Your child is very smart. They pick up on a lot of good habits and they can pick up on a lot of bad habits. So you got to be very aware of how you act, what you say, what you do, because they will pick up on it, and they a lot of times are very quick learners. But you got to be consistent. Back to number 2, always important. But they can learn just like everybody else. They can learn manners. They can be kind. They can follow direction. It can be done. And I've seen it because my children have wonderful manners. They are kind to others. Oddly enough, we go a lot of places, and around typical children, you never would guess that my children are the ones with the autism, and they are just so well behaved. So very proud mom moment, and our dad is so proud too. And also use encouraging words. That's important as well. They will remember those things and help with the learning process. So, you know, if they do something that's good that you want them, make sure you say, instead of, oh, great job, make sure you say, great job with picking up your toys. You need to be specific. They need to know why they are being praised, or even if they do something bad, they need to know as well. It's like, tell them, you know, hitting is not nice, instead of that's not nice. They need more specific instruction, and it'll resonate more and help them learn. So that is realizing that they can learn. All right, number 4 is having to do with early intervention and therapy. Obviously, always talk to your doctor and see what they recommend for your child. Autism is such a broad spectrum that different children need different things. So always talk to your doctor, and make sure you kind of, even if you're not sure, go and do at least one session and see if this is what your child is in need of and is going to be worth the time. Usually it's always worth the time. Any time and extra effort you put into your child is going to have a huge payoff. It's not always going to be easy. You're going to have to do some scheduling changes and make some sacrifices here and there, but it's always going to be worth it in the end. And just be consistent. Try to go and try to not cancel any of your appointments. Be consistent, and that is really where it's going to work. It may be a struggle at first getting them into these new people, new places, new things. They may not want to participate, but if you stick with it, they will definitely come around and benefit from it. As far as like programs and stuff like that, there are a lot of programs. We are a military family, so we do try and take advantage of the services that the military does have to offer. We have the EFMP. They do a lot of local things and stuff on military to get people together and do things, so that's always nice. There is a program, I believe, with the government called the Child Find program that my children did, where they ended up getting free preschool. So they get starting at the age of 3. My children started going to school, and they offer like speech therapy or it's like social emotional behavioral type therapies there in the classroom as well. So there are things there for if you're, you know, low income, you're not military or anything like that. There are programs out there. So always do your research and find somebody that's going to be able to help you, because somebody is always out there. There are also, I believe it is with the, I'm not sure if it's with the Child Find program as well or not, but we did one up in Washington when we were stationed up there, called One Small Step, or no, I'm sorry, no, Step Ahead. I'm mixing up another foundation for our friend's child. But we did have the therapist come to our house once a week, and it's all based on your child's needs. My friend had it done with her son, and I believe they had it like twice a week, and it's all based on the needs, and the therapist would come over and just do these fun games that never felt like therapy at all. And it was in the child's home where they were comfortable, they got to play with their own toys, and they were so good. They'd play outside and just do different types of therapies and stuff, and it was fantastic. So look out there, there are programs for everybody. All right, on to number 5. Local resources. This kind of ties into the therapies and stuff that we just spoke about. But trying to find just local resources in your area, doing social media, Facebook groups. I am part of several Facebook groups that are local just to the area that I'm in, military ones as well, separate ones. But finding a group of people that understand what you're going through and what your child is going through is going to be very helpful. You need to know that you're not alone, and if you're feeling frustrated or angry or you're sad or you just you don't know what to do anymore, your child's doing something, finding friends and families that know what you're going through is so important. You never know, maybe they're going through the same thing and they conquered that trouble that they were going through, and they have a suggestion, and who knows, it may work for your child and help them as well. And you never know when somebody's going to come up to you and be like, I have this going on and I don't know what to do, and be like, well, we tried this and it helped. So you just pass along the information. So having a good a group of people that you can always turn to is so important. There's actually a lot of autism networks around. Locally, we have one, I believe it's the Autism Society. So there are places like that around. And then there's always the global, I don't know if it's global or not, but around the country, there's Autism Speaks, that they have a great website you can go on, and they've got so much information. And even just with finding on these groups, you can find events, get-togethers, child play groups, and it's always nice whenever you do get to get together with other families and you don't feel any judgment or anything like that. You just feel more comfortable, your child feels more comfortable because you're all going through the same thing. And if somebody has a meltdown, it doesn't matter. We've all been there. So yeah, always look out and check out for your local resources and find friends who know what you're going through. And yeah, put yourself out there. You're never gonna find friends, make friends, meet people if you don't put yourself out there. It's sometimes a little awkward, but it'll pay off. All right, on to number 6. Find your child's strengths and their weaknesses. Being able to figure out what you need to work on is very important. If you could tell that they need, if one of their weaknesses is sharing, well then you know what, maybe it is time to find some friends, find one of those Facebook groups and that's having a play date, and maybe we get your kids together and we can work on sharing. Maybe they're just not around other kids very often and they just kind of need some social interaction. So knowing your child's strengths and weaknesses will help you also learn to know what areas are, how do I explain it? Yeah, like where do you need more work? And you can also set them up knowing their strengths on that self-esteem boost, and make sure you give that praise that they need, and just finding their interests. You can know where, if they are good with numbers and patterns, maybe they have an interest in, you know, like math. Maybe that's going to be their strong point when they're in school, or if they're already in school and you could just focus more on reading, or I don't know if that makes any sense. But finding your child's strengths and your weaknesses is definitely going to be a good thing. Okay, number 7, get out of their comfort zone. Although they do have their routines and it's comfortable for them, it's not always doing them favors. The world does not revolve around them at all. Even though there are a lot of accommodations that are coming up nowadays for people with special needs or, you know, on the autism spectrum, it's not always going to go as planned. And so getting them out of their comfort zone are really going to help them to find coping mechanisms. So my daughter PJ, she absolutely hates the happy birthday song. And we'd go to birthday parties and she would scream. And so as the years have gone on, she has learned that for a birthday party and they know we're about to do the cake, she knows now that she needs to remove herself from the situation. She will go to the bathroom. She will go outside the backyard. She'll go to another room and she'll sing herself a song or just do something and kind of block it out. And that is her way of coping in a situation where she is not comfortable. And going places and doing things that you're maybe worried, how are they going to react? Are they going to get overwhelmed? Is there too many people? Is there too much noise? The sensitivity, it's a lot for somebody with autism. But starting slow, it's going to be very important to get them out of their comfort zone. They need to get out of the house, get out of the room, get away from those tablets, the phones, the TV, and they need to interact with other people in different situations. And when they're an adult, they're going to be able to understand the outside world and kind of maybe try to fit in a little bit better where they need to. But those coping mechanisms are just going to be so important, because you never know. And everything, so many different things, they trigger different kids different ways. My son loves the happy birthday song. He will belt it out, but PJ, she's gone running. And so yeah, get them out and do different things, and you never know, they may find something that they absolutely love that you never would have guessed it, and maybe that's one of their strengths, you know, or you find something that's their weakness, and then maybe slowly, gradually work on it, and who knows, maybe it could become one of their strengths. Okay, here we go. Number 8, don't compare your child to others, whether it's comparing them to another child on the spectrum or comparing them to a typical child. No two children are the same. No two children on the autism spectrum are the same. Persephone is 10, almost 10. Jackson is about 7. She's a girl, he's a boy. Completely different. They have different interests, different strengths, different weaknesses. As far as comparing them to somebody else on the spectrum, they're so different. You never know what therapies one kid is going through. Maybe something that your child is struggling with, they used to struggle with too, but the child could be older. Maybe they've been going to therapy, so working on that specific thing for 2 years, and they've just really come a long way. You just never know. Maybe they also have another, maybe your child has another problem. Maybe they just don't have autism. Maybe they also have ADHD, or maybe they have dyslexia, or you never know. So don't compare your children to anybody. They are who they are. They have their strengths and they have their weaknesses, and just work on those and getting them to be the best that they can be. And everybody learns differently too, and at different speeds. So that goes for everybody, not just people with autism. And so everybody has their own struggles. Embrace yourself and just work on what you can. Okay, number 9, ignore the judgment. We've all been there. We've all been at Target trying to get some shopping done, and your child is triggered by something. Could be a toy, could be some popcorn, it could be a popcorn on the floor, a sticker, anything. And it could just go on into full-on meltdown mode. And I know we're always so worried. What are people thinking? Are they staring at me? This is so embarrassing. Why is this happening? And the only thing you need to be really concerned about is your child. What is making my child so upset? How can I explain to them how we need to fix this, or the proper way that they need to behave? And so don't worry about the other people. Get with your child face to face, look them in the eye, and just talk to them calmly and quietly. I know it's so hard to remain calm and patient when, there's this huge meltdown going on. But just focus on you and your child, and that's what is important. People who are going to judge you, they've never had to be in your position. All kids do have meltdowns. I know this. Having a child on the spectrum having a meltdown is sometimes different, just because they maybe not understand. It may take a little time for them to understand, but just ignore them. Sometimes we've had people come up to us and just be really encouraging, which is always so nice. But you're always going to have those people too that have those horrible looks or say something. And on that aspect, I suggest don't be afraid to maybe educate them. Maybe a lot of times people just think kids with autism are bad children. They have no discipline and they're just being rotten. And so maybe sometimes if the situation is the right situation, just a little education is key. Say, I'm sorry this is happening. Nobody likes this. My child does have autism and we are working on this. And just then continue to work on your child and see what you can do to diffuse the situation. But anyway, stay calm, be patient, and just try to block out the noise. Let's see. Also, don't be completely ashamed of it. Autism is becoming more and more common, and I talk to so many people that don't have children on the spectrum, but whenever I do mention autism, so many times people are like, oh, I have a cousin with autism, oh, my nephew, my niece, my friend's child. And so it is becoming a lot more talked about, and I think you may be surprised how a lot of people are more in tune with what's going on. So, yeah. Don't be ashamed of it. Just do your best. Okay, number 10. Don't limit your child or children. You never know what is going to happen when you combine things like the consistency, the therapies, getting them out of their comfort zone, finding their strengths, their weaknesses. When they're 3, 4, 5, 6, you never know how they're going to progress into adulthood. So don't just be set on, oh, okay, he's just going to be here on his tablet forever, just playing by himself in the corner, you know, eating some popcorn. That's what my kids love to eat, is popcorn and Hot Pockets. But don't limit them. You just never know. Get them out there and see what they have to offer. Children with autism are just so smart, and I really believe that they have a lot to offer the world. So don't limit them, and encourage them to do so many things, and just don't hold them back. Don't let them hold themselves back. Be encouraging, and just love them. And no, it's hard. I know it's hard. It's not going to be easy. Life is not going to be easy for them. But you do want to set them up for success the best way you can. Do everything you can to help them be the best that they can be, and set them up for life. Make plans, make goals. It's so important. Just don't let them just be. Routine they'll enjoy, but they need some ups and downs. They need some rocky roads. They need to learn. The world does not revolve around them. It's not going to be just the easy road for them. They're going to have to put in the extra effort to kind of fit in and be typical, normal type of person. But they're always going to have their uniqueness to them, and I think that's what makes them just so special, and that they have special gifts that maybe we don't understand. Who knows? I'm convinced that they're just so much more intelligent, and I'm the moron, and they just don't understand what I'm saying. I don't speak their smart language. So yes, I think that's going to be it for today. My 10 tips. If you have any other tips that you want to share, leave them in the comments below. And maybe if you find somebody else in the comments section, reach out to them, send them a message, say, hey, I would love to chat. I would love to hear what maybe works for your child, or, you know, who knows? We can find some friends down in the comment sections. Please, please, everybody, be kind to one another. No judgments. This is a place to be supportive and happy. And you have questions, feel free to just reach out, and I will try to get back to any comments or questions that you all may have. And I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope you really like this video. If you do, please share it. And maybe you have, you know, somebody who's in this process of a child being diagnosed. No matter what age, any of this can be applied to a child at 3, 17, 18, they're an adult. But these things all still apply to anybody on the spectrum disorder. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.